Hi students, welcome to your tutorial for how to complete the argument breakdown worksheet. So this worksheet is set to start you off on working with reading number 2. You've already gone through reading. You've done your summary and response essay. And now for the next few weeks, we are going to be using reading number 2 and looking at it upside down and backwards. And so the first thing that you want to make sure that you're doing for this assignment is making sure that you are in What Are My Course Readings, that you're going and navigating to reading number 2, and that you are actually reading and annotating this article. Okay? Now, instead of actually doing an annotation assignment the way that we did previously, we're going to start with the argument breakdown worksheet. One of the reasons why we start with this worksheet is so that we're able to understand exactly what's happening in this article. So really it's kind of a comprehension check to make sure that you're annotating appropriately and then making sure that you're being able to see those annotations and looking at the parts of how of the essay so that you can see how the author has actually put together an argument. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do after you've completed reading number 2 is you're going to go into critical reading argumentation. Now, this is the page that you must read in order to understand and identify all the parts of a classical argument, okay? So they're listed here. You have a video to watch that's going to give you a little bit more information. And then you have all of the information about how to actually find the author's argument in an essay by going through our areas here and then clicking through to seeing the steps on exactly how to annotate your text in order to identify the different parts of the argument. Now, in this page as well is a lovely little area here that actually helps to guide you with your annotation. When you annotate, take a look at these transition words, this little list here. You can also click here below, but you can actually take a look and see, hey, my author actually has a transition word here. What is this leading me to? So when we are looking for the different parts of the article, those transition words and this little section right here is really going to help you to identify claims, the reasons, and the counter arguments. So really kind of put that into perspective as you look around within your reading number 2 and as you annotate it. All right, so let's get into the assignment and see what we need to do. All right, so it's telling you to read number 2, and then it's also telling you to do critical reading argumentation. All right, we've done that. Now let's take a look at what the assignment looks like and what the worksheet looks like. So when we look at the argument breakdown, this is what you're going to do. After you've annotated your text, you're actually going to go ahead, write the main claim of the article. What I want to see here is I want to see a solid paraphrase, okay, of what the entire article is about. So again, you should be annotating ahead of time and making sure that you're using your annotations to say, all right, overall, what is the article actually saying here, okay? Then what I want you to do is I want you to look for the claims that the author is making. Okay, so here, if you're going to notice, you'll notice that there aren't really a lot of quotations here. Instead, these are all paraphrases. You should be adding APA citation in this as well. But essentially, when you're looking at the reasons provided, what are the 3 main ideas that actually back up the main claim of this article? Okay, you can put quotation here if you like, but again, make sure that it's in APA format and that it's punctuated appropriately. All right, now let's get into the counterclaim and the rebuttal. So, does the author actually address the counterclaim? If yes, then make sure that you list it right here, okay? In our sample, as you know, you've kind of looked at this, I'm sure, 100 times. In our sample, they don't really talk about the counterclaim. They kind of mention it, but it's not a real direct thing, so I'm going to leave this part blank. However, if reading number 2 for you has an actual counterclaim, then make sure that you list it here. And again, make sure that you're paraphrasing with APA format. Then make sure that you tell us what the rebuttal is, okay? So all of this information here is the rebuttal. So essentially, the author didn't really state a counterclaim, but they kind of mentioned it, but they did tell a lot of reason why the other side is wrong. So they really listed the information here and really told us why that counterclaim was incorrect. If there is no rebuttal if there is no counterclaim, then think about it, okay? Use your critical thinking skills that you've been developing for the past couple of weeks and really consider what could the author have put in for a counterclaim if they had a counterclaim. All right, now here's the fun part. If the author had a counterclaim, then you don't have to actually answer this question, okay? But if the article did not use a counterclaim directly, then you should be filling out this question, in full. And that's it, everybody. What you'll do is you will download the argument breakdown sheet. I have it listed for you here. So make sure that you are filling out in full, all right? And then go ahead and submit it to your folder. Now, where can you use this? Well, the good news is that you can use this to help you get your ideas together for the summary that you'll be needing to write for the next essay, and the summary that you're going to be writing for the final essay. So this is really going to be helpful. Really take some time with it to really be thinking it through and enjoy kind of looking at your new reading from a new perspective. Okay, everybody, happy writing.